This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 19th day of January in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana intends to continue working with the COVAX facility to access the coronavirus vaccine, even as it examines the possibility of looking to other avenues to get additional shots. According to Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, the country's main focus right now will continue to be to work with the COVAX initiative.
So there are several options that are available, and we're still working with COVAX to ensure that we can have access to vaccine.
COVAX is an initiative that falls under the United Nations, which seeks to procure and distribute the COVID-19 vaccines to developing and lesser developed countries. COVAX has already made moves to procure up to 1 billion doses, but countries will only be given enough vaccines to cover 20% of their population. That system has forced many countries to begin looking at alternative sources for the vaccines and enter into bilateral arrangements. For Guyana, the vaccines are likely to be available after April, with healthcare workers in the front line and the elderly likely to be given first preference.
Countries, we know of countries that have been doing bilateral deals outside of COVAX, and that is because for this year, COVAX would only be able to give the countries who are participating in that facility 20% of the vaccine that they require for their population, or vaccines to cover 20% of their population. So that is not going to be enough for a country to achieve herd immunity, and therefore a number of countries are looking at other options of how to get additional vaccines so that they can have more people immunized. For us, we continue to work with COVAX while we explore with other partners to see whether or not we can access vaccines so that we can have more in country. But our main focus is really COVAX.
The coronavirus cases in Guyana continue to spread. Based on the latest figures coming out of the Ministry of Health, 90 new cases have been recorded over the past 24 hours. There are now 6 persons in the COVID-19 intensive care unit. Since the first case was recorded back in March last year, almost 7,000 cases have been recorded, with more than 6,000 persons making full recoveries in Guyana. Since the start of this year, more than 500 new cases have already been recorded in the past 2 weeks. More news coming up in a moment.
People we have
weathered every storm
and risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
Our Comfort Inn and Guest House is your home away from home. Located at 1277 Central Amelia's Ward, we offer comfortable, affordable, air-conditioned, self-contained apartments with high-speed wireless internet access to make your stay luxurious. Whether you're overnighting, spending the weekend, or longer, you're guaranteed satisfaction. Our hospitality is second to none. Rent our newly installed deck for your wedding, birthday party, or any other occasion. Call us today on 442-4186 or 672-2035 or 684-9009 for bookings and more information. R&R Comfort Inn and Guest House, where your comfort comes first.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Welcome back. The Guyana Police Force is probing the disappearance of several documents and other items from the Police Service Commission following a break-in at the Commission's Kingston office. Crime Chief Wendell Blenheim led a team of investigators to the building this morning after reports of the larceny. The incident at the Police Service Commission comes on the heels of a promotion saga that has reached the courts, with a number of senior officers who were not promoted seeking redress. The last time the matter was called before the Chief Justice, the court was informed that the Attorney General was seeking to have discussions with the aggrieved police officers and officials from the Police Service Commission. Police investigators overlooking the break-in have confirmed that several files and other important documents are missing, but they have not provided any information or details on the contents of the missing files. The break-in and larceny is believed to have occurred sometime during last evening and early this morning. There are a number of other government offices in the same compound, and there is a 24-hour security presence. The chairman of the commission, retired Assistant Police Commissioner Paul Slow, is currently out of Guyana on his official duties with the West Indies cricket team. In the world of politics right now, the APNU-AFC nominated commissioners on the Guyana Elections Commission are maintaining that they have taken no decision to boycott any meeting of the Elections Commission. Commissioner Desmond Trotman said when the commissioners exited last week's meeting, it was to press the chairman, Justice Claudette Singh, to review her position on a matter that was taken before the commission. The APNU-AFC wanted to meet with the GCOM chair about their concerns about the commission moving forward with plans for local government elections while not working on a new voters list. The request was denied by the chairman, who said she prefers for the APNU-AFC to meet with the entire commission and not just the chairman. But Commissioner Trotman today said Justice Singh created a precedence of meeting with party representatives on her own, and he insisted that the GCOM chair met with party representatives in the past.
She is on record with meeting with other political party representatives outside of the commission. And she knows it.
While GCOM is reportedly looking at the claims and objections period aimed at correcting the voters list, the APNU-AFC commissioners are maintaining that the list is massively flawed and needs more than just claims and objections.
Because they're persons. Then let's have persons who have died abroad, but whose relatives have never sought to have them removed from the list, and their names are on the list.
Last week, opposition leader Joe Harmon related that Guyana has a population of approximately 785,000 people, while the list has more than 660,000 people. The GCOM Commissioner Desmond Trotman said a position for a new list isn't being supported by the PP-nominated commissioners at GCOM, although the president has been talking about plans to ensure the Elections Commission is fixed before any other elections. Substandard works, overpayments, contractors' indebtedness to the government, and delays in supplies were just some of the issues that were highlighted when the Auditor General's report for the Ministry of Public Works for 2016 was examined by the Public Accounts Committee. While in most cases actions were taken as required, questions were still raised by members of the Public Accounting Committee, since it was found that some of the matters were recurring ones. In one case in 2016, it was highlighted that some $223 million was allocated for payment of retention and completion of 11 bridges on the east bank of the Marara, the East Coast, and in Georgetown. Included in the sum of $223 million was the amount of $11 million that was expended on the rehabilitation of the Hope Bridge on the east coast of the Marara as mobilization cost. Approval was granted by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board for the award of the contract in the sum of $46.5 million to the second lowest of three bidders against the engineer's estimate of $37 million. Examination of the contract documents by the Auditor General's Office found that the contract was signed on the 9th of December 2016 with a duration of 3 months for completion and the defects liability period of 12 months. A physical verification of the project on the 22nd of August 2017 revealed that no works were carried out on the bridge, although 9 months had elapsed since the signing of the contract. The ministry has since taken action in addressing the matter. Nevertheless, Government Member of Parliament Gil Teixeira told the Public Accounting Committee that it was unacceptable that 9 months after a contract was signed, work had not yet been started. She questioned whether the ministry has a system of tracking the progress of works awarded and whether, in this instance, the contractor was penalized. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Vladimir Prasad, appearing before the committee, said it is never acceptable when there are contractors who are not adhering to their contractual obligations. He said it is a matter that the ministry is reviewing very seriously, with all the projects moving forward. With restaurants now being allowed to have indoor dining at 40% capacity, restaurant owners are welcoming the move and intend to continue to practice safe guidelines in the fight against COVID-19. Under the amended COVID-19 order, restaurants should have tables and chairs placed up to 6 feet apart, and no more than 4 persons should be seated at any table. The Guyana Tourism Authority has been given the responsibility to ensure implementation of the measures and protocols. While the move to allow limited indoor dining is being welcomed, restaurant managers believe the restaurant industry will still take a while to make a rebound. Manager at Jack's Restaurant in Movie Town, Trevor Garbaran, said his restaurant will be putting standard operating procedures in place to guide its reopening for indoor dining.
I made contact with the ministry and they did say that we have to get approval, we have to do an inspection, we have to do a standard operated procedure to ensure that we are following all the COVID rules and they are satisfied with everything that we are doing to prevent the spread and contraction of this virus.
At Chef Mondale's Kitchen on Church Street, former journalist turned chef Mondale Smith said small businesses like his have been facing a tough time with the pandemic, but they are still going.
Where the finances are concerned, sometimes you have a lot of money, but of recent you're not getting a lot. 2 reasons: COVID plus the reality of.
The lifting of the restrictions is coming as good news. Manager of the popular bistro restaurant, Mark Prasad, said the restaurant has already lost a market share of roughly 60%, and it's going to be tough to get all of that back.
Well, to begin with, I'm not sure how long we would have to be in this pandemic that we are currently going through. But I'm very much optimistic that within say when the pandemic is over, I'm sure that the people will come back and we would have the indoor dining and business would go back as normal. Well, I'm hoping that it will.
Last week, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony stated that with Guyanese continuously flouting the national COVID-19 guidelines which were implemented to reduce the spread of the disease, the National COVID-19 Task Force will be moving to once again reinforce those guidelines. Police investigators arrested a wanted man early this morning as he was seeking treatment for a gunshot wound to his left leg at the Woodlands Hospital. Police investigators moved in on the hospital after receiving a tip-off about the man's presence. According to a police statement, William Diabru, who was wanted for a series of robberies in the Region 4 area, was held by officers at around 1 o'clock this morning at the private hospital. He reportedly turned up at the hospital in the company of 2 other persons, and they too were arrested. The police statement said the trio were initially taken to the Bricktown police station, but later transferred to the Cove and John police station for additional investigations. The wanted man, William Diabru, was also being sought over a shooting incident that occurred on Monday. He reportedly sustained the injury that he is now nursing in that incident. A Cummings Lodge man who often told neighbors that he no longer wanted to live because of a chronic illness died in a fire at his home on Monday. The 68-year-old man, Lionel Kite, had reportedly threatened to take his own life on several occasions because of the pain he suffered from a chronic illness. On Monday afternoon, Kite's landlord and neighbors were alerted by a loud explosion, then later saw the man's small wooden house up in flames. There was very little the fire service could do to save the house. The man's body was pulled from the kitchen of the house with multiple burn wounds. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. A neighbor recounted the man's complaints about his illness and not wanting to live.
He feel like drinking poison. You know? But he never tell me nothing. I'm gonna break the house and get you out of the place and go to the hospital, you know? It's last thing to hear him done, you know? But here's the man, when I got back there, hear this man groan, you know, with this pain, like he feeling pain. So I don't know, probably this man had this sick lung. I don't know if this thing turned cancerous or what. And he didn't want nobody to know.
It was also recalled that on many days the man would lock himself up in the house and could be heard groaning for pain, but he always refused help from the neighbors to get him to the hospital. He has left a son to mourn his loss.
Been through it all.
But as a people, we have
Weathered every storm.
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class, or religion.
we are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Due to the impacts of the global pandemic, COVID-19, across our nation, essential organizations like us have chosen to adopt innovative approaches to meet the emerging needs of our customers while protecting our employees. Here are some quick tips to make managing your GPL bill easier while we practice social distancing. To register for electronic billing, you can use the e-billing tab on your website. To access your bill balance, you can use 4 options: the website live chat at gpl.net, the online inquiry on our website under billing, SMS FREEDOM by texting your GPL reference number to 624-0400 or 608-8400, or call our call center at 226-2600. A message from the Guyana Power and Light Incorporated.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobil Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Across the region right now, Brazil kicked off the nationwide COVID-19 immunization program yesterday by distributing doses of a vaccine from China's Sinovac Biotech, following emergency use authorization, although the pace of vaccination will depend on delayed imports. After weeks of setbacks, many Brazilians cheered the first wave of inoculations, from bustling clinics in Sao Paulo to a spectacular shot plant at the foot of the Christ Redeemer statue overlooking Rio de Janeiro. The health ministry gave states a green light to start immunizing at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Although some began administering shots before that, the majority of Brazil's 26 states had yet to receive vaccine shipments as of Monday evening, delaying the start of vaccinations for the elderly and frontline health workers. Minutes after Federal Health Agency and Visa approved the Sinovac vaccine on Sunday, a 54-year-old nurse in Sao Paulo became the first person to be inoculated in the country. In Jamaica, a damning assessment of the country's Bauxite Institute in a recent study has revealed major environmental oversight failures in the country's bauxite alumina industry. The oversight failures highlighted in the 246-page multidisciplinary study commissioned by the Jamaica Environment Trust include negligence of the state agency in monitoring air and underground water pollution in bauxite mining communities, the failure to follow air pollution monitoring guidelines, as well as weak enforcement of regulatory guidelines stipulated in mining permits. The failures, according to the director of the Jamaica Environmental Institute, Diana McCauley, were as a result of insufficient data gathering efforts by the regulatory body and the delay in the implementation of a regulatory framework for the industry at its inception. McCauley said the study was dogged by long waiting periods in accessing information using the Access to Information Act. And finally, tonight, international news. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden is to undo one of Donald Trump's last actions in office by blocking his decree, lifting COVID travel bans and visitors from much of Europe and Brazil. Mr. Biden's spokeswoman said now was not the time to be easing travel measures. Joe Biden will take office as President of the United States at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. However, much of the spotlight is on Mr. Trump's final moves. Security is intense in Washington, D.C. ahead of the inauguration ceremony. Thousands of National Guard Reserve soldiers have been deployed in wake of the storming of the Capitol building by a pro-Trump mob on the 6th of January, which left 5 people dead. The FBI had earlier warned of possible protests across the nation by right-wing extremists emboldened by that invasion. The U.S. imposed travel restrictions on Europe last March, and the Brazilian entry ban was put in place in May. But the White House decreed on Monday that the entry ban would end on the 26th of January, 6 days after Mr. Biden takes office. Just minutes later, Mr. Biden's spokeswoman Jen Psaki said on Twitter that on the advice of their medical team, the administration does not intend to lift the restrictions. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.